Here's another crucial aspect of acting as if: you must address the resistance that will inevitably come up. Your ego, your logical mind, your past conditioning, they're all going to resist this new way of being. They're going to whisper things like, "Who do you think you are?" Or, "You're not qualified for this," or, "People like you don't get things like that." When this resistance comes up, and it will, don't fight it. Acknowledge it, thank it for trying to protect you, and then gently redirect your focus back to who you're choosing to become. Remember, this resistance is actually a good sign. It means you're pushing beyond your comfort zone and creating real change. The mystic Rumi wrote, "Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray." When you act as if you already are who you want to become, you're following that strange pull. You're allowing yourself to be drawn toward your highest potential. Now, let's talk about something practical. How do you maintain this energy when life throws you curveballs? Because let's be honest, life isn't always easy. There will be days when acting as if feels impossible. There will be challenges that seem to contradict the reality you're creating. This is where the practice becomes even more powerful. It's easy to act confident when everything is going well. The real transformation happens when you can maintain that energy even when circumstances aren't perfect. When you can embody abundance even when your bank account is low. When you can feel loved even when you're alone. When you can trust in your success even when you face setbacks. This doesn't mean ignoring problems or challenges. It means responding to them from the energy of who you're becoming rather than reacting from old patterns of fear or limitation. It means asking, "How would my highest self handle this situation?" and then acting from that place. The ancient Egyptian wisdom keepers understood this principle deeply. In the Emerald Tablet, one of the most sacred alchemical texts, we find the teaching "as within, so without," meaning your external reality is always a reflection of your internal state. When you act as if you already are who you want to become, you're literally transforming your inner world, and the outer world has no choice but to follow. Let me share another powerful example. Denzel Washington, before he became a successful actor, would walk onto movie sets where he wasn't even working and just observe. He would study how successful actors carried themselves, how they prepared, how they interacted with directors and crew. He was acting as if he belonged in that world long before he had the credentials to prove it. He was programming his nervous system to be comfortable in that environment. Years later, when he did become successful, he said it felt natural because he had already been practicing being that person. He had already trained himself to think, feel, and behave like a successful actor. This brings us to an important point about acting as if. It's not about copying someone else's life or trying to be someone you're not. It's about becoming the fullest expression of who you truly are. It's about removing the limitations and fears that have been keeping you small and allowing your authentic self to shine through. When you act as if you already have what you want, you're not pretending to be someone else, you're stepping into your own power, you're claiming your birthright as a conscious creator. You're remembering who you really are beneath all the conditioning and limitations. The quantum physicist David Bohm talked about something he called the implicate order, the idea that everything that can exist already exists in potential form, and it's our consciousness that brings it into manifestation. When you act as if your dreams are already yours, you're reaching into this field of infinite potential and pulling your desired reality into form. This is why it's so important to feel the emotions of having what you want, not just think about it. Emotions are energy in motion. They are the bridge between the invisible world of thoughts and the visible world of form. When you can genuinely feel grateful for what you're calling in, when you can feel the joy of having it, when you can feel the love you desire, you're creating a powerful magnetic field that draws those experiences to you. But here's something crucial. You can't fake these emotions. Your subconscious mind and the quantum field both respond to authenticity. If you're trying to force positive emotions while secretly feeling doubt or fear, that doubt and fear will be what manifests. This is why the inner work is so important, which brings us back to the power of self-talk that we'll explore deeply in our next video. The Hermetic principle, as above, so below, speaks to the same truth. What happens in your inner world is reflected in your outer world. When you change your inner dialogue, when you change how you speak to yourself about your worth, your potential, your future, you literally change the blueprint for your reality. This is where consistency becomes absolutely crucial. You can't act as if for an hour and then spend the rest of the day in doubt and limitation. You have to make this a way of life. Every morning when you wake up, ask yourself, who am I choosing to be today? Every night before you sleep, reflect on the moments when you successfully embodied your desired reality and celebrate those victories. Make sure you share this video with your loved ones. Remember, you're not just sharing content, you're spreading the energy of possibility. And that positive energy you put out into the world will come back to you multiplied. You're being the kind of person who lifts others up, and that's exactly the kind of energy that attracts miracles. Here's what I want you to understand at the deepest level. Acting as if isn't about manipulation or trying to trick the universe. It's about alignment. It's about bringing your thoughts, feelings, and actions into harmony with your deepest truth. It's about living from your potential rather than your past. When you master this art, when you truly embody the reality you're creating, something magical happens. You stop needing external validation because you know who you are. You stop waiting for permission because you've already given it to yourself. You stop looking for proof that your dreams are possible because you're living as if they already are. And here's the beautiful paradox. The moment you stop needing your desires to show up because you're already complete in yourself, that's when they start manifesting with incredible speed. When you're no longer coming from lack or desperation but from wholeness and knowing, you become irresistible to everything you've been calling in. Now, as we wrap up, I want to address something that's absolutely crucial and directly connected to what we'll explore in our next video about self-talk. The way you speak to yourself about this process, about your progress, about your worthiness, this internal dialogue will determine your success more than any external action you take. Most people sabotage their manifestations not through their actions but through their thoughts. They'll act as if for a while, but then their inner critic starts saying things like, "This is taking too long," or "Maybe I'm not meant to have this," or "Who am I kidding?" And those thoughts, those internal conversations, they have the power to unravel everything you're creating. This is why mastering your self-talk is so essential, and it's exactly what we're going to dive deep into in our next video. Because there are specific ways to speak to yourself that can accelerate your manifestations, and there are ways that can completely block them. The good news is, once you understand these patterns, you can transform your reality faster than you ever thought possible. If you're ready to master the most powerful tool for manifestation, your own inner voice, make sure you click on the next video. I'm going to share techniques that can change your life in a matter of days, not months or years. Because when you truly master how you speak to yourself, you master the very foundation of reality creation. Remember, you're not here by accident. You're here because your soul is calling you to remember your power. You're here because it's time to stop playing small and start living as the magnificent creator you were born to be. Acting as if is just the beginning. It's your invitation to step into a life that's so abundant, so joyful, so aligned with your truth that your past self wouldn't even recognize you. Like if you felt it, share it with someone who needs it and comment "I receive" to lock it in. And subscribe because this is just the beginning. Your transformation starts now.